Hey there, guys. This is Jeremy with The Level Designer, and I wanted to make this very special video to give my first impressions on Unreal Engine 5. If you are unfamiliar with what's been going on the last week, Unreal Engine 5 is now out of closed beta and available for download pretty much for everybody. So, the last few nights I've been really playing around with the tools and going through just some basic stuff and really getting familiar with Lumen and Nanite, and I'll kind of go over my experiences with that and kind of give you a first glimpse as to what I've been working on within Unreal Engine 5. And I'm really excited to get into this engine, especially since there's a lot of projects being built with it, especially in the AAA space. So it's something that I really wanted to try to get into as soon as possible. So here I am. I basically made this kind of this island area. Again, this is a very basic environment that I made, but I wanted to kind of play around with like the lights and whatnot, and I'll kind of get more into you know what Lumen is and how Lumen affects light in Unreal Engine 5, which is a really cool thing. But one of the things I was really playing around with was the Quixel Mega Scans, which has a Quixel. If you are not aware, has made a lot of their photorealistic assets that they have scanned through special software. They scan all of these different foliages and all of these different assets and materials that you could put into a project. Excuse me. And basically, if you use Unreal, you can just go into the Quixel Bridge and use all of these different assets. So that's kind of what all of these foliages are. All these kind of grass. Maybe I should make them a little bit more smaller. But you have like some trees, and then I kind of made this like temple thing over here, which is could be a neat entrance for a tomb or something. And then I really built out like the floor and whatnot, and we can take a kind of a deeper look at what I did for the floor to make it really stand out. And then all of these rocks are from Quixel, and I have started to kind of make this kind of mountain cliff face, which looks really nice. Is highly photorealistic. The collisions, as you can probably see, aren't the best. I just kind of quickly put some collisions on some of these assets, and they're a bit kind of funky, but I'm sure with enough time and work, you could probably get them to work better. But yeah, this is kind of like my basic kind of first thing that I've done in Unreal Engine 5, and it's been working really well. I will say that I did make and I didn't publish this or anything, but I did make a scene with a bunch of Quixel assets in Unreal Engine 4, and I remember when I did that, the engine was just so slow, and it was, I think it was on my some older hardware that I had. I don't know if I had a I don't know if I had a quick oh I don't know if I had a quick yeah, I don't know. I don't think I had like my hardware updated. But basically, I've kind of made this tomb temple, and I kind of went through Quixel, and I can kind of show you what I used. But I have like a little aqueduct here that's kind of ruined there on the side, kind of makes it look a little bit more cool. And then I haven't really went over here, I've been kind of focusing a lot on like the rocks and stuff. But yeah, let's go ahead and I can kind of show you what everything looks like in Editor. So, kind of to start out with, I did a lot with, kind of the first thing that I did was I messed around with some modeling. So, in Unreal Engine 4, there's a bunch of geometry shapes, and I believe they're still in Unreal Engine 5. But one of the how I kind of built this little temple out is I used I went into here and then I went into modeling mode, and then right here on modeling mode there's like a cube block out tool. And what this allows you to do, and it's loading some shaders there, but basically what this allows you to do is it allows you to kind of build out very basic cubic blockouts. So, and I really like this. I really like how this is done. But basically, and I'm probably gonna get like a ground layer or something. But basically, what you could do is you could click on a thing, and then if you click like Q or E, it will raise things up. So if I just make like a cube here, maybe this could be the start of something. But if I select this, I could actually hold down Control and then just move this out. And then I could just hit that, and then I can move that out this way. And then say I want to make like a bottom here. I can kind of go in here and select that, and then if I hold down Control, I could just move that down, and we kind of have the basis of a tower. So we could really shape this to be, you know, shape this any way we want. So let's say I want to have this be like a little tower or something. I can select this, and then I can actually create different shapes and whatnot. And we can even, you know, hollow things out, make them look, you know, the way that we want it. And once we're done hollowing it out, we can go back in and close off the roof. And another cool thing that we can do as well is if we want to add in like a slope, we can actually do something like select these. If we hit Z, we can actually select some of these corners. And then if we hold down Control, we can actually move some of these out. So that could be a kind of a nice little way of building a staircase or something. And then you could go so crazy with this. Like if you want to have if you want to add more to this, you just add more to the square or whatnot, and then you can just select what you need. So if we just select that and then we go over here, it's kind of a little bit interesting. You might have to do some trial and error, but it's really kind of nice way to, you know, build out. It's just a kind of a nice way to build out buildings kind of in a faster way than the normal geometry tools would allow you to. So I mean, this might work better for a city, maybe not like a ruined area, but you kind of get the idea. And I actually don't know if this is like new to Unreal Engine 5. I wouldn't be surprised if this is something that isn't new, but I haven't really played around with this. So yeah, it's kind of something that you know I do want to play around more with this and see what I could really do something like that. And then if we just play, we should be able just to well, let's hit complete down here, and then we just go and you know, maybe we blocked out a level. Maybe this is like a first-person shooter. But yeah, you can see that this is really this is really dark in here. So I think this would be kind of an interesting time to kind of show you the power of Lumen and kind of show you what Lumen can do. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna let me see. Select this, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and add some just little slits up here. And I'm just trying to figure out interesting ways that we could really have light come out or something. So I'm just trying to figure out a kind of a neat way of doing this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll kind of push that out. Of course, you can kind of see that it went out a bit. So we're going to hit complete, and then if we go in and play, hopefully what it will do now is it'll create kind of some interesting light in here. It's still kind of dark though. So let me see if this could... Okay, so I think what we are needing to do is we're gonna have to go in and get out of play mode. But in here, if we hold down Control L, we can actually move around the light. So this is a really kind of great demonstration of Lumen and how Lumen basically automates light more better. And if you've seen, you know, the demonstrations that Unreal has you know, shown off, you can kind of have a good sense of you know, you probably know a good chunk of what Lumen does and how it is used in the editor. But let me try to get a good kind of... So we're just trying to get kind of an interesting kind of thing going here. I don't know. Maybe we can use the light to create like another room or something. So maybe there's like a secret room in here that we can go into maybe. So I'm just trying to create kind of some interesting stuff here. Again, let's say complete. If we go into play mode, it should really give us a new kind of sense of light. So, yeah, it's just very interesting. And then I'm pretty sure that this area would also work for emissive materials. So if I can remember how to create one, maybe I can do that real fast. So let me go in and add in a sphere. And then I'm going to go in and control and space kind of opens up the content browser. So they really want to kind of emphasize you working in the viewport as much as possible. So, you know, they want to kind of get the content browser kind of out of the way. But with that in mind, what we're going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to make a new material. I'm just name this bright because, yeah, and emissive color, I want to say that's what I want. And then value, hold on. I know that I did this in my last video, so I'm not entirely sure. But I think we want to put a const 3 variable here, and then we'll want to change the color. So maybe we want to have this be really bright. And then constant. Should be able to rename this, right? Convert to parameter. Yeah, there we go. So we'll go through here. I think. So we're going to save this. And we're going to go back in, and then we're going to create a new instance of this. Or call it gold. Am I missing something, or hold on? Oh, do I have to convert this to? I see. I'm a dum-dum. Okay, so I'm just gonna delete this. Yep. Create a material instance, call this gold. Emission, color. Maybe something more like, nah, let's do 100. Okay, so I made a new material for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and apply that onto here. And then what we're going to do is, as you can see, emissive materials now light up areas in a room. So it's going to light up that area. So now if we play this, it should light up. How cool is that? So yeah, I mean that's a really nice way of you know, Lumen is really cool for doing a whole bunch of different stuff, and of course, you know, the lighting will interact with all of these different objects. So, you know, you could really play around with how all of this looks. So just from this, you know, you could really play around with all of these assets and the environment and make it look different. Maybe we want to have it kind of dark. So yeah, this is a really interesting just tool set. I really want to work in Unreal Engine 5 a lot more, and hopefully what can happen is we'll be able to make some cooler levels, incorporate a Quixel bridge, which I didn't show you, but yeah, if you want to use any of the assets, all you have to do is just go into your content browser and right click and add Quixel Bridge. Of course, you need to have the plugin enabled, but once you do that, you can go in and there's all of these different assets that you can use. So I think we'll definitely be using some of these, and there's a bunch of like themes and a bunch of just objects that we can use. So if we wanted to use, I don't know, I wonder if they even have a car. Look, see if they have a car. I'm sure that they have a car. Maybe, I don't know. No, not that. I got metahumans. We have some Roman ruins, so that's kind of where I got some of my my assets from. So if we wanted to use something like this, what we could do is just go to here, and we can go to, oh, there's Nanite. I think I was using high quality, but let's see what Nanite does. I'm sure that Nanite probably really makes the the quality of the asset go high up. But we can download all of these different assets, which they look really good. And the thing that I'm actually the most excited about with this is Quixel is going to come out with a app on your phone where you can actually scan objects and then put those objects into, I want to say the website was Sketchfab or something, and then you could take those assets that you scan and put them in Unreal Engine. So that's something that I definitely want to play around with, because I think that would be a really kind of cool way to really build out assets in a very interesting way. And you could basically do a whole bunch with it. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm just so excited with the possibilities of something like that. But anyway, we downloaded this. So what we could do now is we could add it. And then we have this now in our project. I would just drag it in. Maybe it has to wait. And my computer, and as well, my computer isn't like super up to date. I have like I think I have like a 5600 XT AMD graphics card, so I definitely don't have like the top of the line. But even with the amount of assets and geometry that's in this level, I definitely, I don't know. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and delete one of these, or try to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this static mesh here. And how you can actually add collisions is if you go onto the object and click on the static mesh, you can actually go into here, and then if you hit auto convex collision and just hit apply down here, that's actually just a very easy, simple way of adding in meshes like this. So what you get is just kind of a nice little thing, and also you can turn on snapping and movement, or snapping for assets and whatnot, and if you want to move something, you can. Again, this is just a really nice way of making stuff look just so much more interesting. So if we want to have like maybe like a little rock in here where maybe it's just built into the area, you know, like see? And like all of these assets like this, I mean they work very well. And maybe you even want to turn off like the movement, so if you really want to get particular with like how something looks, you could do that. But now if we hit play, you should be able just to go up to it and really not run into it and stuff. And of course, with the nanite, you know, everything's extra detailed. It's still run. I mean, it's kind of chugging a little bit, but I think you know it's looking great. So and the lumen, you know, reflects really well. Of course, when we go into this building, it just gets kind of dark. So we might want to fix that. So what we could do is go back in and hit that. And then hit Control L, and then we can lift up the lights a bit. And maybe we want to have a little bit different aesthetic. So what if we want to have just it being kind of more noonish or something? So I think right and left, and then up and down. So we could probably just add in the light there. But I want to have some light on this, on kind of the front of this. So what we could do is actually just move it around and see what we could kind of come up with. Yeah, so that looks kind of nice. So again, we can just kind of go into play mode, and then Lumen should really just kick in a lot of the time, and you know, go through, and we can look in this area and see this is kind of the collision. It's not really perfect, but it'll do. Kind of float in the air, but like you can't walk over here. You can jump on these and yeah, I mean this is a really nice just area that I've made. So now what we could do is another thing that I have kind of worked on a little bit. That's kind of different from you know my experience with Unreal Engine 4 is I have a few plugins that I have. So the plugins that I had, first one's the water, and then that allows you to just put in water. So if you have a landscape, you could do that. And then I want to say, I think it was landmass. Yeah, landmass. So what landmass does is, and you know the cool thing about this is, if we go to landscape, we should be able to access kind of the landscape that we have for all of this. So if we wanted to work on any of these mountains, we could do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to blueprint right here, and then where it says blueprint brush, I'm just going to select, I think it's custom brush landmass that I want. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a new one, and then this will allow me to just create a new landmass. So I could just go through here, and then I could select all of these different points. And then if I hit, I want to say Control? No. Alt? Yeah, so if I hold down Alt, and then I can actually drag different nodes around. And this will create like a new kind of mountain for me, which is kind of interesting. So I'm just gonna kind of go into here and create this. And then down and in this area, what we have is we have like a cut shape. So if you want to have it to where you can actually control like the if you want to edit how this goes off. So if you want to make like a plateau or something, and you can create another landmass area on here, and then maybe add in like a mesa or something. I guess I don't really know. And then you can actually increase like the fall, so you can really just kind of get kind of crazy with this, however you want. And then there's also, let me see, static mesh. There's a few others. Oh yeah, so we have curl noise, which I believe adds kind of some randomness. Yeah, so if we kind of take a look at this, you know, there's a little bit more. It's a little bit more natural, and it's a little bit. So if I put it back to 0, you see it's all kind of just a flat wall. Maybe even put it up to 0.5, and then you see that it really comes out and it's its own thing. And then if we go down to displacement, which is going to be right here, and we hit like 500, it's really going to add in this very rocky terrain on the top. And then of course, if you kind of do that and you put in like a general water thing, you should be able to, you know, affect the water and stuff. So it's kind of a nice way to add in islands and whatnot. You can see here that I have a kind of this going on here, and it's not really too great. But this is kind of the cool thing about nanite. So and these quixel scans. So I was taking these really highly realistic scans of, you know, like these mountains and whatnot, and you know, you just kind of place them in different areas and kind of do different stuff. So if I want to like close that area off, I could kind of do that. Maybe I want to kind of move it around too, so it's kind of blends into the mountain a little bit more. So you could really do a bunch of different stuff like that. And really make things kind of blend in. And that's kind of the cool thing about these Quixel assets. I think a lot of even like games that come out too, I mean, they're kind of using a lot of this stuff. So you have this kind of wide open gap here, so you know, you could just duplicate another one of these and go in, and maybe you want to turn this around a bit. This could be a really nice way of just making some new areas. So it might be a bit tricky. You kind of have to, you know, be careful where if you try to smooth out one seam, you might create another one. But what we could always do is kind of fix this to where we have that, and then we have this. And see, it kind of fits a little bit more better with that. And maybe, because we kind of have this kind of thing here, but what we could do is, it might be easier to use maybe something like this, to maybe something like these two assets that we could use to kind of clean up those areas. So we could go in and use two assets like this. So let's just do that. Let's just kind of add in these and see what we can kind of come up with. And again, the good thing about all of these assets is they kind of do a really great job of blending in and doing really great with just kind of doing different stuff. And what we could do is we could have like one layer here, but we could possibly even duplicate this and just turn this around and then just have this be kind of like another layer. So we have that, we have that. So all we have now left is just, and we can even kind of keep this like that, and then we just need to do this back here. So maybe we just add in something like this. Again, it might look a bit kind of weird though, because this isn't really good for a big terrain area, but we can kind of play around with this and get something that looks a little bit more natural like that. That looks pretty good. And then what we could do is we duplicate something like this, move it over, and I think these grasses, so this foliage that I've painted onto this asset, it's kind of it's blended into this piece. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna turn off the snapping for the rotate. I just want to see, okay, what am I having to like clean up here? Was it this? And that's kind of the most noticeable. So what we could do is just kind of do just a general thing here. Maybe we just kind of close the gap on this, maybe. Again, a lot of it's kind of trial and error. And you know, it might be a bit tricky to kind of like close seams and whatnot, but if you kind of deal with the bigger areas first, like this, then you should be able to go back through and fix things with a smaller thing like this. So if we duplicate that, we could go in and it's just kind of some ideas that you could do. So and all of this kind of blends in pretty well. So even if you did something like this to kind of help close this a bit, you could do that. And then again, this might not even be the best kind of example, but there's rocks too. So what we could do is we could just add in some more rocks. So we go to Quixel. We could probably just type in rocks or whatnot and just see what we come up with. So we just have some boulders here that might work. So we can actually just download these boulders and just add them in. We also have, you know, some small stones. We have a forest rock wall. There's even like bigger terrains that you can also download, which is kind of interesting. Might be a bit too much, but we can add that as well. And that's a formation that we have. That's another boulder that we have. So I have this boulder that we've downloaded. So what we can actually do is go in here and just take this rock. And maybe we just do this. What if we just turn that to its side and then just try to hide it this way. So we have a little bit less area, some areas where we are kind of slowly working towards, you know, getting rid of this. If we go to rocks again, we can go back and we had that one. We're downloading this one, right? I thought so. Maybe it didn't, oh, I thought, hold on. Hold on, I thought, okay, yeah, so we have that, so we can add this. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of show you guys how, you know, all of these assets that you have access to through Quixel Bridge can really just elevate the look of your environments. And I know that there's some games are using this. I think one game that comes to mind is Chivalry 2. I don't think that they've used their whole game, you know, using Quixel Bridge Megascan assets, but I most definitely do think that they've used some of it. especially for generating, you know, foliage and rocks and stuff. I mean, why create boulders and rocks and grass and trees when it's all here for you anyway? Like, and maybe there's some I could see where there are some practical uses where you might want to change, you know, the I can see why how you might want to change like the material, which, you know, I don't know how changing the material of these would work. I'm sure that it would take a lot of work trying to figure out the UV mapping and everything, but and especially if you were to make like you know, if you were to make get all that, if you were to make, you know, Borderlands, you'd want to have like that shading material. So, you know, you might want to use the shapes of the rocks and stuff. But so yeah, it kind of depends on what kind of project you want to, you know, make on Unreal Engine 5. If you want to go with something a lot more realistic, and you're fine with using these, excuse me, it's been a long day. If if you're comfortable with using these assets, you know, that's fine. I'd go for it. And so what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and click on these static meshes. I'm gonna add in the vortex collision or whatever it's called, and that way we can kind of convex collision. I was saying vortex collision. But what we can do here now is we can go in and add in these and really just cover up these areas and make this look much better. And again, I don't even need to use the whole rock. I could just kind of use like a small little section of it. And there we go. And if we go ahead and play, you know, it's kind of funky with the collisions, but you go in here and clean up the collisions and stuff, and maybe there's the one area that you can't like stand up on, but you know, there's some weird stuff in here, but you go through, you can add in smaller rock formations and all that, and I mean, you have a really realistic looking area here where you know, it definitely beats you know, something just that looks like this, and you just have, you know, the material on and whatnot. So yeah, Quixel Bridge, Lumen, Nanite, especially Nanite, because without Nanite, you know, these, and that's the weird thing is you can use Quixel Bridge and all these assets on Unreal Engine 4, but I think the Nanite is what allows these these um these assets to run really well on even mid-tier computers. Like, I don't have a super fancy computer. Um, you know, I have a pretty mid-tier computer. I could always upgrade it, but it's just it runs fairly well. You know, there's probably some optimization that I could do. And of course, there's small little things too, like when this light comes on. Um, I think there's a way to like set that up to where even if you were in, you know, this room, it should still light up still. But you know, it's kind of just it's one of those things where you kind of have to play around with it and tweak settings and whatnot. And yeah, just I'm really having fun. I'm having a lot of fun with this engine, and I not only from what I can do, but I'm just really interested to see how what other people can do with this tech. And it's something that I really feel like is going to be such an awesome tool to use. And there's even some tools here, and there's some projects here that I'd like to get into. Let me see if I can bring up one of them. So one of the things I'd like to kind of jump into with Unreal Engine 5 is they have this project called Lyra. Yeah, so this is basically like a shooter, and it's just it's a starter pack that anyone can download, and they can open it up in Unreal Engine 5, and it's just a really competent shooter that is pretty fun. And I don't know, I think it'd be really cool to just build some levels in Lyra and do that. Excuse me. So yeah, that's something that I would love to kind of get into and play around with. But yeah, that was my first impressions of Unreal 5. I've been working on it a little bit, but I kind of wanted to make a video with my experience. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching. And I plan on making more videos in Unreal 4 even. I need to get back and make another video for my Overwatch level. I don't know how far into that I'm going to go, but it would be kind of nice to get the block out finished. It might take a couple videos though, but I think a longer kind of project would be pretty good. And another thing that I'd like to jump back into as far as Unreal goes is back into that top-down World War II stealth game. That's been kind of something that's been in the back of my head, and I'm working on other game projects that I'm working with other people, and it's just been a busy time. And so I appreciate everybody watching the video. And if you're subscribed to the level designer, a huge shout out and thank you. And I hope I can get some new subscribers and whatnot. But I want to thank everybody for watching, and I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.